Mark Rogers TV talking some Miami football. Of course, we bring in Cam Underwood from State of the U to help us out. Cam, how you doing today?
Feel good. You know, it's a nice, relaxing Sunday afternoon as we're recording this here in sunny South Florida. So I think it's in the mid-80s with partly cloudy skies. So life is pretty good around here.
Well, for one of the few times when you mention the weather, I can match you. So it feels good. So it should be good just about anywhere across America at this point, being the first week of July. So I was checking out SI.com. They have named their top 100 football players in college football for 2017. So, you know, it's a projection process. You look at 2016, you project if guys are getting better, possibly not on that trajectory, and you forecast. So I see they've got 21 players from the ACC in their top 100, 6 from your rival Florida State, 1 from the U. I expected more. I expected to have this conversation and say, oh, this guy's 32, this guy's 70, this guy's 81. Do you think they got it right? One guy, Ahmmon Richards at 56. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's shocking to me, just as it's shocking to you. Miami does have very good talent on the team in a variety of areas. And no, we've not been the winning program that we would have aspired to and have been in the past recently, but to only have one player in the top 100, I think that's just ridiculous to me. You have Mark Walton, who's the best running back in the ACC. You know, he's coming off a 1,200-yard season, 14 touchdowns, you know, give or take. A dynamic pass catcher out of the backfield as well. I think he played on all the special teams. So you're talking kick return, kick cover, punt return, punt cover. You know, so he's playing, you know, all over the place, dynamic player. So I think that he should have had a spot there in the top 100. Not saying that, you know, I know that Walton's only 5'9" and he doesn't have that sixth gear in the open field. He only gets to, you know, 4.5 or 5 gears. So you can get caught by, you know, pursuing players. But, you know, to have Walton not be in there, I think that's crazy. R.J. McIntosh and or Kendrick Norton, the starting defensive tackles, you know, you're hard-pressed to find many pairs of starting tackles that are better than those guys. Are there better starting tackle pairs? Sure, but there's not more than 4 or 5 maybe. So, you know, maybe if you're looking at it from that way where you're saying, well, Cam, you know, you mentioned both of those guys and they're better as a group than individually, and that's why they're not in the top 100. Oh, okay, I'll give you, you know, that counterpoint to my original point. But, you know, both those guys are very high talents. They could both go in the top 2 rounds of the NFL draft in 2018 if the 2017 season goes well. So not having one of those guys in the top 100 is shocking to me as well. The freshman linebackers, now sophomores, that would be Zach McLeod, Mike Pinkney, and Shaq Quarterman. You know, Shaq Quarterman was a freshman All-American. Stands to reason that if he's one of the top 12 freshmen, 22 freshmen coming back from a year ago, that you would project him in the top 100 players, you know, overall returning. So maybe that's a little crazy that Shaq Quarterman wasn't somewhere in the top 100. You know, but outside of that, I don't think that there's really too many guys that you miss. You really lose everybody in the defensive secondary. Like I said, all 3 linebackers are going to be there. You know, Joe Jackson, I think he was a freshman All-American as well. So you make the same case for him as Shaq Quarterman for maybe having a spot in that top 100, you know, maybe somewhere in the 80s or 90s, just because, you know, defensive line is a loaded position. But yeah, to only have one guy in the SI top 100, I think is that's more emblematic of Miami's trajectory recently as a program than those players' individual talents and abilities. So, you know, maybe when we revisit this at the end of the year and we see, you know, all ACC and all American honors, you know, first team, second team, third team, things like that, I think those guys are going to get more credit then than they are now. And I think it stands to reason because, like I said, Miami finally won a bowl game for the first time in 10 years last year. Still have not had a 10-win season in, I don't remember the last time, maybe it was 2004-ish. So, you know, more than a decade for a double-digit win season. So when you have a program like that, you're not necessarily going to get the wide notoriety outside of, you know, the local people who cover and follow this team, such as myself and, you know, beat writers and other bloggers and things like that. So, yeah, there's only Ahmmon Richards. And, I mean, Freshman All-American, first team, obviously right there, almost 1,000 yards, broke Michael Irvin's freshman receiving record last season. Really looking for great things from him, regardless of who the quarterback is going to be. But, yeah, I would have expected there to be a more Hurricanes represented on that Sports Illustrated Top 100 list. But that should just give us the impetus and incentive to do well this season so we get our just due, or those players get their just due after the season.